From the Suburb Glitch FAQ, this is the proper FAQ, Part 1. Press Enter to start. Obvious stuff. This compendium will take into consideration that you are familiar with the basics of Suburb. I suggest reading Tentacle Therapist's walkthrough for getting the gist of it. This first part of the FAQ will focus on more specific questions that arise when installing the game and entering the medium. Keep a lookout for answers which bear the mentions critical threat. They are flashing red for a reason. O4A. Installing Suburb. Question. I dropped my Suburb disc / spilled milk on it / threw it into lava. Is it gonna be okay? Suburb game discs are indestructible. Question. I loaded my Suburb CD into my game console, but it's not working. Did I get a bad version? Is there a regional lockout? Only a personal computer can launch the Suburb installation. Game consoles will not do. There is no requisite for the hardware. Even an antique computer will work as long as it can read the disc. Note, actually, I heard it still works fine if you insert the disc into the wrong slot of a very old computer, but then it's going to be hard to manage your client player on a really old machine since the graphics will look like animated ASCII art. Question. The screen says there was a problem with player identification. Then the CD tray opened and launched the disc in my face. Bug. The game could not properly designate the Suburb player. This situation happens if several people fight over the keyboard, over the chair, over inserting the CD, or if the player designation is dubitable for any reason whatsoever. The game will glitch out, eject the CD, and ask you to retry. So, to make it clear, the person who places the Suburb CD into the computer is the designated Suburb player. This designation is temporary. The CD can still be ejected and subsequently loaded by a different person. The designation process is written in stone once the server player connects to the query of the client player and the installation process begins. Note, apparently this happens if the player is intoxicated while attempting to install Suburb. Reattempt once sober. Also note, if somebody loads the CD but someone else presses enter to confirm server/client connection, the game will recognize a player designation bug and eject the CD. Question. Me and my friend only have one CD and we want to play Suburb. Can we share an account? Nope. One CD, one player. Question. What kind of copy protection does Suburb have? Critical threat. If you try to burn a copy of a Suburb CD, your computer will explode. Question. Can't I just download it? Suburb only comes in a downloadable format in scratched worlds. Chances are this doesn't apply to you. If it does, your Suburb program is already identified to your name and will find its way to you one way or the other. Question. I started the installation, but then I broke my computer while it was still installing. Do I have, a half-installed game? Did I just fuck everything up to high heavens? Nope. The game is still installing. It never installed anything on your computer in the first place. The completion bar is just there to look pretty. The Suburb installation takes place everywhere at once and just happens to be kickstarted by the program. For example, once the process is over, any computer of yours will have Suburb installed on it. Any computer that you alchemize in the future will have Suburb installed on it. If you own several computers, upon installing the game, they will all turn on and display the completion bar. That can be a little freaky, but hey, you should have noticed by now that something was very wrong about this game. Not that anybody seems to actually react to how wrong this game is. I think the game pre-installation does something to make you accept all that jazz as if it's normal. Note. The Suburb installation process is very bug-proof. Once it has begun, the process is irreversible. The game will never stop. I repeat, the game will never stop. If you have broken your computer mid-installation and thus lost the visual to the completion bar, you will know when the installation is over when you feel a cold shudder and an electric shock running down your spine. Note, you do not need a computer to clear the introductory phase of the game if you are the first player in a chain. However, it is strongly advised that you obtain one ASAP for your eventual client player. Question. I installed Suburb, now I can't find my player CD anymore. The tray is empty. The Suburb player CD disappears after the installation is launched. Only the server CD can be reused. Question. Both me and my friends have our own Suburb CD. Can we run Suburb in the same house? Critical threat. Do not run 2 Suburb sessions in the same house. What are you even thinking? Trying to make a LAN party? Only the first person to destroy the pre-punched card item will be wished into the medium as a designated player. If someone breaks a pre-punched card item next to you, you will be teleported into the medium as a non-player and timeline doomed. Therefore, you do not want your preliminary phase of the game to overlap with someone else's. You will not be able to finish setting up the game. The installation cannot run its course inside the medium. Note, this is a safeguard measure to avoid people getting inside the medium and then launching another Suburb game and being launched into another Suburb session within a Suburb session? You'll understand that this is silly. Suburb becomes recursive enough on its own. 04B, the preliminary phase of the game. Question. Okay, I guess it installed, but it didn't teleport me to any fantasy land or anything. The whole thing is broken. Set phasers to chill out. This is normal. You will need to clear the introductory phase of the game before entering the medium. Suburb starts out very slow. It is something that people often criticize. It seems that not everybody can digest stories that take a long time to set up themselves. Question. Objects are flying around. I think my house is haunted now. What kind of game is this? What did you do? Your server player is the one who is moving objects. If you squint with your eyes, you should be able to make out the cursor. You should contact your server player immediately to clear misunderstandings and set up boundaries to the respect of your furniture. Question: my friend is destroying my house. Ha ha ha. Question: my server player is unable to remote view certain parts of my house. Bug: the server player can only view areas where the player has been before. Question. I'm getting a big red X displayed on my screen when trying to deploy the special machines. Normal. The game will not allow you to deploy items from the Fernalia registry if they don't have enough room to operate. They cost nothing to put down, but cost a hefty sum of grist to relocate. You could compromise yourself if you bundled them up and then couldn't use them correctly. The Alchemiter in particular will require more place than other devices to be placed down. That is because expansional upgrades will increase its size beyond its current size at deployment. It is advised to drop the Alchemiter first. Question. My server player is suddenly unresponsive. He wasn't done deploying the game items and now he's gone. Critical threat. Your server player has connection issues. The server player requires TCP/IP protocol to maintain the continued privilege to vandalize the house of the client player. This connection is going to go out often. In case it wasn't clear, it's the end of the world right now, and you're sitting there and wondering why the internet goes off. Note, hopefully your server player will reconnect shortly. Otherwise, you will die. Note, the requirement of a TCP/IP connection is lifted once the client player clears the preliminary phase of the game. There will be no need to worry about internet access anymore. Internet connection is ubiquitous to the insidosphere. Or to be more exact, all computer and programs behave as if they had every required connection in all situations. Question. I don't understand a word of what my sprite is saying. Minor bug. The dialogue options of your sprites are pretty much inexistent until it is prototyped a second time. Don't pay attention to it. Question. My server can see things on walls which aren't really there. Is this part of a game puzzle? Question. Is there anything I should avoid prototyping? There are a few important things. Avoid spatially challenged items, pumpkins, keys, chainsaws, makeup, anything with frogs, inactive Black Queen bug, anything with clowns, J Noir rampage bug, empty Siladex cards, and any game abstraction. Oh, and the asshole with green energy. More on that in the next question. Question. Is this Sburb thing related to the beast/thing/asshole with green energy that is lazing around my house? Critical threat. Short answer is yes. This is a preloaded debug NPC. For more information, consult Chapter 9A on the subject. But before you do that, for the love of everything, don't let that buttlord anywhere near your kernel sprite. You are strongly advised to dual prototype your sprite immediately to avoid scandalous complications. And try to break your entry item when that guy isn't near your house. Question. I'm missing a lot of grist. I mean, I know how much I started with and how much I spent, but it doesn't add up to what I have now. Bug. You have spent the grist on perfectly generic objects and forgot about it. It seems that perfectly generic object abstractions do not stick into long-term memory. Return to your alchemiter and look for them in the room. They look like green cubes. Once you find them, don't let them out of your sight. They can be unmade to retrieve their worth in grist. Perfectly generic objects do not serve any game purpose. Note, PGOs don't even make a good furniture for it because then you'll forget about it. Question. I was told a captcha code for a really sweet item and then I tried it but it didn't work. Let me guess. You expected to start the game with the best gear? Nice try. Captcha codes are validated when someone in your own reality finds them. Captcha codes from other sessions cannot work and will produce a garbled mess. Note. In theory, they could be already valid if there was some dimensional shenanigans taking place that linked universes together. In theory. In the sense, shit that happens if people cared to pick up a frog breeding guide. Question. My sprite stole my pre-punched card and ran away. What do? Critical threat. This is a bug caused by a ghost script that should have been deactivated from the game. It seems that Suburbs' preliminary phase has copy-pasted data from a children's game. In short, that game goes like this. You make a funny friend, you create a shiny object, the friend hides it, and you have to find it. Yeah, real cute. Except we don't want this script to auto-load when the end of the world is happening and you need that item to live. Go find your sprite and get that item back. Else, you are going to die. O4C. Within the medium. Question. I brought people with me by mistake. I thought it was going to be just me and my friends playing the game, but it grabbed my house and everybody in it. They are very upset. They are asking me what I did. Only the person who launches the Suburb installation is a designated player. These other people are timeline doomed. In short, don't get attached to them. Or if you have something to say it quick. Question. What's this I hear about discarding a specific item? It is a scripted part of Suburb that a special NPC will end up with something which belongs to your house and form a cult around it. For more details, see the chapter The Secret Consort. To avoid losing something which is dear to you, keep it within your Solidex. Note, if somebody jokingly told you that the first thing to do once you enter the medium is to throw a pair of underwear/panties out the window, this is why. You probably should pick something more tasteful, though. Question. I'm hearing things in my head. Is going crazy a part of the game? This is related to exiles. Ignore for now. Question. Me and my friends were happily rebuilding things and then shit, there are monsters spawning in my house. Something messed up, right? Since when do the mobs spawn in the starting zone? Working as intended. Better start strafing. Question. There's more of them. Your sprite and your client server should be able to help. Make sure to alchemize something good for your strife deck. Don't waste your sweat on trying to make stuff that is cool or stylish. Grab what you have at hand and make something that works. Question. Okay, it was viable at first, but now there's just too many monsters. I think the spawn rate is bugged. Critical threat. Yes. Yes, it is. There is an infinite amount of these guys. When you have a chance, go outside or on the roof and look at the sky. Do you see that gate? You want to reach that. It is very important that you do not try escaping the situation by running away from your house. The infinite spawn rate will only reset once you go through that first gate. If you run away from your house, you will be stranded on your land and unable to get back to your house because it'll have 1,000,000 billion monsters. So don't scamper away. Besides, it's time to stop running away from things. The gate, now.